Welcome, fellow humans. Today I want to do a follow-up video on my previous video about inaccurate thyroid test results. I'll put a link to that video in the description so you can watch that if you want to. But in short, I discovered that my thyroid test results had been wrong for almost 2 decades. A big factor was that I took a multivitamin every day that contains biotin, and that biotin supplementation can throw off the test results. It doesn't affect the actual thyroid levels, but it does affect the thyroid test results. The other factor was that I would generally get my tests run in the late afternoon because that was convenient for me. And it turns out that you have a daily thyroid cycle, and I've never had a doctor or a lab take time of day into consideration when looking at the test results. And so by taking my tests in the late afternoon, I was less likely to look like I had hypothyroidism because of just the natural fluctuation of the thyroid levels. Anyhow, so since then, I have learned 2 things. One is that biotin doesn't just mess with thyroid lab tests. It can also mess with estrogen levels. Not the actual levels, again, just the test results. So at this point, I am a little suspicious of biotin and what else it might be messing with for medical test results in general, because I can't research all of them, but if I had to get a medical test done, I would want to either just stop my supplementation, which I would generally be doing anyway since I usually will have the thyroid test there where I have to do it, or research whether or not biotin can affect that particular medical test result. Because if you get the wrong test results, you get the wrong treatment, you can get the wrong diagnosis. The whole reason we do these tests is to get accurate information. And if biotin is throwing that off, then the test can be more harmful than helpful. So biotin is a thing to be worried about beyond just thyroid tests, and I don't know how pervasive a problem it is. Maybe it's just a few medical tests, but it's good to check whether or not it's going to be an issue if you have any supplements that contain biotin. The second factor is time of day. As I said, taking my tests in the late afternoon was causing me to look like I had less hypothyroidism than I did. I don't know to what extent because I fixed the biotin and the time of day at the same time, and the biotin is likely the larger problem. But I decided to go from late afternoon to as early in the morning as I could take my tests. And that helped get my test results into a range where my doctor was willing to keep me on my supplementation rather than it looking like I had hyperthyroidism. However, I have since then read that the average person will have their TSH high, where they look like they most have hypothyroidism, at 10 a.m. I am not an average person. I have delayed sleep phase syndrome. So either I would most look like I have hypothyroidism at 10 a.m. or a little later than that. Probably not late afternoon, but maybe around noon or something. It's really hard to guess at that. I would need to do testing at various times to see how my actual cycle goes. What I have done is I took my last thyroid testing at 10 a.m. or very close to it. I forget the exact minutes on that, but that's what I aimed for, and I got very close. And my thyroid test results did show a big shift. They went from just barely in the normal range to being really in the middle of the normal range. And that was really nice for making my doctor comfortable with keeping me on my current dosage of levothyroxine. Now, it is possible that my body could have actually changed, that my actual thyroid levels may have changed. We test my thyroid levels periodically because that is a possibility. So you cannot read too much into one data point. I wish I could provide more data points, and eventually I will have more, but it will still be very limited and not a rigorous scientific study. I would love to have actual medical research into this and be able to give rigorous results. But I wanted to share the information that I do have, because if there are other people out there having problems with either getting a hypothyroidism diagnosis or with their prescription dosage not seeming to match their symptoms and not seeming to be a good fit for them, and as with my doctors, them insisting that they do not treat the symptoms, they will only treat the lab levels, then I want them to have the information about what might benefit them and what they can think about and try. Because I've never seen a doctor take time of day into consideration with the lab results. I'm sure there's someone out there who is, but I've never seen it. So you can aim your lab results based on your symptoms, and that can help. At least it seems to have with me, although again, not enough data points to be sure. Anyway, that's my story, and if you liked it, please click like, and by all means, if you know anyone it might benefit, do share it with them. If you would like more similar content, then subscribe. But most of all, if you have any thoughts, questions, similar experiences, more information on the topic, I would love to read your comments. Thank you.